Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of the Samantha K Experience. Welcome to episode 8, season 2. I know it's been a long wait. There's been an extreme amount of stuff happening since the last episode, which was back in February. But just to briefly catch you guys up on some stuff, I think I talked to you guys about me switching jobs and all of that. So I switched jobs and it's been kind of hectic. I kind of had some stuff going on and a lot of personal things have happened, and it's things that I'm not really too comfortable to discuss, but it has affected me and some of those around me. So I kind of didn't feel like talking or doing a podcast. I wasn't really sure if I should come back to do a podcast because, I when you go through a lot of stuff in your life and you kind of lose your way, so to speak, and it's really hard to try to find yourself or for that matter discover who you are as a person. So I was just going through a lot of stuff, and it's quite hard because trying to navigate and just flat out being an adult, it's really difficult. As far as I know, there's no right way or correct way to be an adult or handle the stuff that life unfortunately throws at us. So, I just been coping, been dealing with it. I've been getting some help, getting some help for quite some time. I believe since last September, so it's been about a year since I started, and three therapists later, I think I've found someone that I can gel with, that I can be comfortable discussing my issues with, that I probably wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable talking to anyone else for that matter. But it's just been a lot of things that I had to deal with and still dealing with. But like I said, I'm here, and I know there was a lot of content, a lot of things that I wanted to sit down and talk about and review for you guys, but like I said, when you're just so caught up in your own head space, it's just kind of hard to, sit down and think about anything for that matter. So I know that New York Fashion Week was a couple of weeks ago. I did not attend to any New York Fashion Weeks this month, only because I kind of was just a little bit tired, and honestly, I just kind of didn't really want to do it. I wasn't really in the space of doing one. I did the last one in February for the spring, but I originally did wanted to go to another show, but I just never got around to getting the tickets to purchase for the show, and I just said, you know what, it is what it is. I'll just catch them around the next time. So I didn't do anything fashion related for this month of September. However, what I did do was after 4 years, and I really have to stress this enough, after 4 years of me being denied, every time school starts, the kids go back to school and everything, and I will always look up. First of all, I got to give you guys a backstory, so let me just start all over again. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself, and I feel like I'm not giving you guys a full story as to what I'm talking about. Okay. So, for starters, I'm a huge, and I mean huge, Duran Duran fan. And I know that some people are like, who is this? Like, who are they? So basically, they're a band from, I don't want to say from the 80s because it makes it sound so dated, but they sing new wave stuff. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm a huge fan of the 80s. I love the movies, I love the clothes, I love the music, especially the music. Hands down, the music by far to me, aside from the 70s and 60s and maybe 90s, by far the 80s to me has some of the best catalog of music, period. Especially when it comes to new wave, synth wave music, hip hop, rock ballads galore. Like you have Duran Duran, you had Boy George, you had A Flock of Seagulls, you have so many different bands. Of course, their hair was crazy. You know, this was like in the years of like Bon Jovi at the height of their, you know, doing their thing for rock and all the other stuff. Like, there was so many aspects of 80s music that I enjoy, and I know a lot of it is like pop and new wave, like I said, but I enjoyed the music because I don't know, it's just something about it. Like, I feel like in some cases, like, you know, 80s music really didn't take themselves that seriously, but I wouldn't really say it in terms of, they did have some political songs back then, but I feel like everything was a little bit lighter for that time in terms of music. At least, you know, me who grew up in, who was born in that era of, you know, 82 and stuff like that, and then growing up in the 90s, and then, you know, being an adult at, you know, in the 2000s, like it just the music just resonated with me more. Even when I was playing Vice City and stuff like that, when they played the music and stuff like that on the radio and the game, it was like I always ventured towards like new wave stuff. So anyway, after I just went on this whole tangent, for 4 years, I think it was about 4 years, I've been trying to get to see Duran Duran in concert, and it was just been a pain in my ass to try to get to see them, only because I, like, every time, like I said, at the time my job was different. I used to work with kids, and every time school would start, around the time school would start, I never had the money because I didn't save. Like, I would work at camps, and then the time would come, I didn't have enough money to go to purchase the ticket to go see them. And they were either in Jersey or they were here in New York. I remember there was a couple of times where they were here in New York in September. And I think 2 years back to back, I was so pissed. I could not get to see them because I didn't have the money. And I was so mad. And I was like, listen, there's going to come a time I have to create a bucket list. So this all started with a bucket list of me trying to figure out, okay, you're at a point in your life, you want to do a lot of firsts, and sometimes life, you never get the opportunities to do certain things. So what I did was, I said, I'm going to seek out and find a band that I, you know, go to a concert, put on your bucket list who you want to see. I had a short list of 3 different acts that I wanted to see. Last September, Rammstein was playing in September. I could have gone to that show, but then for some stupid reason I opted not to. I don't know why, but I was just like, I felt like I wasn't ready. And I was like, wait, how can you not be ready to go to a concert? Like, I just didn't understand what was wrong with me at the time. And it was like, it was gifted to me in my lap, but I didn't take it. I was like, okay, that's weird. But anyway, I'm checking on the apps, and I'm like, wait, you know what? There was 2 things I wanted to do. I had wanted to go and see the Eagles, but I wanted to take my father for a late birthday present. At the time that I checked the tickets, the Eagles weren't playing, which was weird because I was like, wait a minute, I have two apps. I have AXS and Ticketmaster. I checked one of the two, I don't remember which, but they weren't playing. And I was like, wait a minute, the Eagles just finished playing a show last year. So I was like, okay, they're probably not touring again. Lo and behold, poor silly me. I checked sometime in August, they're playing a show. And I'm just like, bruh, I already set myself up for not going to see them, because I would love to see them. You know, that's another band that I like, that I've gotten to like a lot in my age. But I'm like, okay, fine. I'll just go and see. I'll just pick and see if Duran Duran is playing. Lo and behold, I see Duran is going to be here in September. I lose my mind. I lose all of my mind. I said, okay, they're playing in September. This was back in, I would say, when I checked the tickets for Duran Duran, it was probably maybe June, maybe July. I feel like it was more like July. And I was like, well, actually, no, I'm lying. I checked before that, because I checked before school ended. And I'm like, okay, these tickets are a bit expensive. It was like literally, I think I was in sometime maybe May or June, and the tickets were expensive. Like I was like, well, expensive for me. And I was like, yo, I don't want to go too close, because then maybe I don't want to like lose my hearing because of the loudness. I'm like checking the tickets. I'm like, oh my God, this is too much. Like, I can't do it. They didn't have an availability to where I wanted to sit. And I'm like, okay, freaking out, having a whole panic attack and everything. And I'm just like, I can't do this. Like, what is going on? So I checked back and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll be lucky I'll find a seat. You know, so I kept checking ever so often. And I'm like, okay, $100 and something. Okay, $300. This is not looking good. I'm getting nervous now. It's getting closer to time. It's literally like maybe 2 months or more to the show. And I'm like, bro, I need to get to this freaking show. First of all, they're going to be in Queens. Okay? I work and live in Brooklyn. There's no way that I am not going to miss this show. So I'm like, okay, they're going to Forest Hills Stadium. I've never been to the stadium before. Didn't even know that Forest Hills had a stadium. So this was new to me. And I'm like, I live in Brooklyn, and I don't even know what the hell be going on half the time. But I was so hyped because I was like, yo, I got to see this show. So then I checked back the tickets. It says the tickets are $70-something. I said, you shitting me. I said, listen, and I get paid, if this ticket is still available, I'm hopping on this. I do not care. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me. I never know if I'm ever going to get to see these guys again. I'm going to do it. I'm like, the members are all here. For the most part, I am going to see this blasted show. I do not care. I remember clear as day, I pressed the thing, and then the ticket went through, and it said, okay, confirmation and everything. So I'm like, okay. So I paid down the ticket, like, at the time I paid it in, like, increments, because I was like, okay, God forbid something happens or whatever. I paid down for the tickets, and then as the weeks are coming on, I'm getting hype. I'm like, oh my God, I get to see them. And lo and behold, I jet out of work so fast on Friday. Like, I don't even know. I beat feet and I ran to the train station because the show was supposed to start at 6. I might backtrack a little bit here, because the original lineup for them was supposed to be Grace Jones was supposed to be there. Of course, Duran Duran. And I think I'm not remembering if Bastille was actually on the show, but I know Nile Rodgers was listed as Nile Rodgers and Chic was supposed to be there. But somehow I think something happened and Grace didn't show up. I only found out she wasn't going to be there, I think, the night before of the show or the day of the show. I think I found out the night before. Like, I clicked on something and I was on Duran's I think Facebook page, and they said that she wasn't gonna be there, and I was like, okay. I was a little bit disappointed, but I'm like, all right, you know what? It is what it is. I'm still gonna have fun regardless. So let's do this. And I cannot lie. I felt like I was out of place. When I look around and I see all these people, I'm like, oh my God, some of these people got to be in my parents' age group. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, wait, these people got a good 20-something years on you, Samantha. Like, what is this? So I'm like, okay, walking. I remember I was so anxious to get there. Like, I think that was the fastest time I've ever left work. I swore. Like, first of all, I wore my bootleg Crocs, and I was like, listen, I need to be comfortable, because if I'm going to be standing, I didn't know that I wasn't going to be standing, that I could be able to sit. And I'm like, that was great. I was so ecstatic when I finally got to see the show. Like, I walked. I was kind of tired because it was a long journey to get there. And when I say that I got there, it was still light time. It was still light outside. I think it was around like 6 o'clock was when the show started, and I went to go and sit down and find my seat. There was so many people there. Like, just walking up to the stadium and then getting the ticket scanned. And part of me kind of wished that I had a hard copy ticket, because my ticket now disappeared from the app, and I was kind of pissed because I wanted to show people that I went to the show. But I got all it's video, and then me come. I gotta get to that in a minute. But I have a lot of video, and my phone took really crappy pictures. So I'm kind of pissed at that. Like, I don't know, my phone I think I didn't put it on the right mode that night, and the phone was just doing the absolute most. But Bastille was there, and Bastille opened the show. I have to admit that I really didn't know them, but I know that the lead singer's from England, and I said I was going to check them up when I got home, and I am still going to check them up. I just haven't had the chance. My brain is still stuck on seeing Duran Duran and everything, and I'm just like still in awe and shock for the most part. Let's see. So I get to the place, and I'm just like looking around, see all these people got Duran Duran t-shirts. I'm here just coming out of work, got on my work clothes, and I'm just like, bro, I look so out of place. Got this little tiny book bag on my back, you know, and I'm just like walking, and I'm just like, I feel so out of place. Like, part of me kind of felt like I should have just went straight to the concert. But I was like, you know what? No, let me just not be that person. And let me just, like, enjoy the show and all that good stuff. But I was glad, because I was like, okay, Bastille warmed up everything. But everything started to kick off once it hit, like, after 8 o'clock. I think, no, it wasn't after 8, was it? I think it was 8. I can't remember what time Nile Rodgers and Sheik came on. I think they came on, honestly, I think Bastille was on for about an hour, and then somewhere around there, Nile Rodgers and Sheik came on, because I remember Duran Duran came on around, like, the music started hitting around like 8:05, somewhere around there. And I remember saying to myself, yo, I think I might have to use the bathroom, but I was a trooper. I stood out and I held it in for the entirety of that show. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, if you have to use the bathroom and you first get to Forest Hills Stadium, go use the bathroom right away, because there ain't no intermission. The time that it takes for Nile Rodgers and them to finish their set and Duran Duran, there ain't much time for you to go to the bathroom. Like, there isn't. Like, the lines are longer than McDonald's, the DMV. the DMV combined, like it's just long. Like I sat there, I tried to run after they finished. I'm like, okay, I may have maybe 20 minutes to get there, blah blah blah. Nope. I looked at the lines. I was like, look, this is criminal. There's no reason why these lines should be this ridiculous. And then I remember my boyfriend was telling me, he was like, well, Sam, they had the same idea as you. And I was like, no, I have to pee. And I'm just like literally muttering through the crowd saying, I gotta pee, I gotta pee, I gotta pee, I gotta pee. Like, you should have seen me. Like, I was just like cutting through people like I was crossing them like if I was playing basketball. That's how bad it was. Because I was like, look, determined to get on the line so I could use the bathroom. Because I did not want to miss Duran Duran. I did not sit here for months talking about this shit. Did not sit here fangirling and wanting to go to this blasted concert. I really and truly wanted to go so bad. Like, it was like, this was like the holy grail for me. Like, I really and truly wanted to see this show because, listen, you never know. Like, I would love these guys to tour for another 30 years, but I can't. That's not for me to decide. So I wanted to go see them, and I absolutely adore their music. Like I was making a joke with my boyfriend, like, listen, like, I don't understand when people go to concerts and don't know none of the acts. And I'm like, okay, I didn't really know Bastille either, but I know 2 of the songs that they sang. And Nile Rodgers wrote and composed some of the best known songs from the 70s and 80s. And I was like, yo, I was here for it. Because I feel like at that point he brought a lot of energy, and that energy that we needed from the show, because I feel like people were still pouring in by the time that Bastille came to play. So it was kind of like they were still filling in some seats, and people didn't want to fill in the seats until, Duran Duran came, or Nile Rodgers came. And I was just like, listen, I was here for it. Like, I sang every song that I knew that Duran Duran sang, except for there was like maybe 3 or 4 that I might have not known. And I'm like, okay, Sam, you're really, in an odd space, because I'm just like just bopping my head. But I'm like, well, I don't know the song. Maybe it's something that they had before. But I remember that 3 of the members had a separate project called Arcadia, which I'm gonna find a CD and I'm gonna get it. It was only from like 85 to 86, well, according to Wikipedia, at least. It was just to kill time during their next Duran Duran project. So they only released 1 album. So I gonna get that, and plus I didn't realize that Duran Duran, their new album that's coming out on October 27th, which is also Simon Le Bon's birthday and his father's birthday. So happy early birthday to both of them. Did not know that they were October people. I seem to have this thing for October people in my life for some strange reason. They're good people. Just don't cross them. They're really good people. Do anything practically for you. So anyway, they have a new album coming out, but I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit more shortly before we end. Anyway, show was great. They sang, like, they did an encore of Save a Prayer, and they dedicated the song to the people of Ukraine. And Rio was the last song that they sang, and I'm like, they tore the house down with Rio. I kept on saying, wait, they're not gonna sing Rio? And I'm like, wait, that's like one of their favorite, like the most popular songs aside from Hungry Like a Wolf. Like, what is this? I'm like, don't play with my gate, don't play with my heart, please. So they ended up playing the Rio, and I every song that they sang that I know, you hear me singing really badly along with it. I'm pretty sure I could sing better on normal days, but for some strange reason, I just was like letting it all out. Like, I wasn't even trying to hold the notes at this point. I was just like singing along. So a lot of my videos sound with me singing along to the band. overall, it was a great experience. I honestly would not mind going back to seeing Duran Duran again. I probably wouldn't do it on like at the end of a work week, but I definitely enjoyed myself to death going to see them. Like they had like this whole like spaceship thing on the screen, like they were traveling on a spaceship, and then they like touch down on Earth, and then the four guys are walking, and then they come out on stage. I lost my shit. Like I love that. They have very interesting visuals for their stuff. Some of the visuals I was like, wait, what? I didn't understand. The one that surprised me the most was I know they sang A View to a Kill, which I don't know if that many people know the song, but it's from A View to a Kill from the James Bond movies, and is also one of my other favorites from them. And I was like, damn, they showed like Roger Moore in his version of Bond going across the screen. I nearly lost my shit because I know he's passed on, so I'm just like, I was in my feelings a bit because I felt kind of sad. And then it was just a good show. I probably would say the only gripe that I had with the show it wasn't even so much the show itself. It was like, I think I picked a really bad seat because the seat that I had was kind of like, there was a pole kind of in front of me, sort of, and I had to like slide to the side to see certain things because I couldn't zoom in on stage to really get a good clarity. So I had to look on the screen a lot to see what was being said and done. So that was my only issue. Plus, the way how the stadium is built, there's only one access for each row of seats. So I had to keep getting up and letting people pass, and then they were like messing up my video. I'm trying to record and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, and then my camera gotta go down without me pausing, and I was just getting pissed. So a lot of my videos you're hearing me complaining and bitching about it because I'm just like, bro, like at the worst times ever, like I'm trying to record something and then you fucking decide, hey, I'm gonna get up in mid song and go and do this and do that. I'm like hello, you could have fucking left when they went before they even came on the stage, but I understand people have to go to the bathroom. It happens. But I think if I was me next time, wow, yeah, I am me, duh. But I think the next time, I think I would probably pick an end seat better, just so that I could just have an easier escape and I wouldn't have to keep worrying about people, having to get up behind other people, in front of other people to let someone else pass. It was just very annoying being 3 seats in and then having to keep constantly getting up, and people keep getting in the way of you trying to shoot stuff, and then people standing in front of you and you're trying to record. It was just a lot. That part was a lot. But other than that, I give the show a 10 out of 10. Like, everybody brought their A game. The crowd was live. The crowd wasn't dead. I think the only part was the crowd, some songs probably that some people didn't know, because I think they might have played songs from their new album, which is Danse Macabre. So now that coming to the end of the show, I just want to briefly say that, okay, Danse Macabre is going to be their 16th studio album. It has like a Halloween theme, very dark. They have the album's called Danse Macabre. It's coming out October 27th, which is Simon Le Bon's birthday. I'm not going to say how old he is, but I know how old he's going to be. If you guys want to check it out, it's going to be October 27th. They have some covers of certain songs like Painted Black and so on and so forth. And they have some new songs too, which is also called Danse Macabre and Black Moonlight, which was helped created by Nile Rodgers, who they were on tour with. But yeah, overall, I would say like it was an awesome show. I wouldn't mind seeing them again. And even if they have a farewell tour and they somehow manage to touch back in New York, I would not mind going. I feel bad for people who went to see the Jersey show on Saturday because it was raining like crazy over here in New York. So I can only imagine what the weather was like. The weather was like in Jersey. But yeah, guys, I would love to say. Just gotta say, if you're a fan of Duran Duran, go see them. They sound still just as good as they did in back in the day. And I hope that, I get to see them again. And if you haven't had the chance, go on the Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, listen to some of their songs. My personal favorites is Ordinary World. This was off their White album from like 93. They have also Come Undone. I think this is when they were kind of like now coming back into a bit more popularity in their music. There's also Save a Prayer, which is also good. Too Much Information is also good about the media and everything. What else? Okay, Hungry Like a Wolf, Rio, Girls on Film, A View to a Kill. I'm running out of song titles here now. They just have like a lot of good songs that on their catalog that is pretty good if you like new wave stuff. Okay, and I know the gentlemen were experimenting on some darker side of the music and how, like, I guess their creativity, which is fine. I don't have no problem with that. I think it's channeling your darker side is pretty much a good thing, and it also enhances your creativity, even though a lot of people think like once you start doing that, it's like the devil's music and all this other shit that people tend to talk about. When an artist decides to put up images of something, all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, they need Jesus. Like, I remember, when they had controversy over Lil Nas X and his video that he had put out a couple years back, and then now the Doja Cat in the same thing where she's like a demon inside of a video, and I'm just like, it's not that serious as you guys are making it sound, but whatever. It is what it is. You think it's something and it's just clearly not. Sometimes music comes from hurt and pain and someone's darkness that they're sharing out to the world, things that they're going through, that they've experienced loss, loss of love, hate for whatever reasons, and different things that have happened to people, of course, in the course of their life, getting sick and diagnosed with some type of illness. Things happen, so I don't want to criticize any musician for their creativity unless it's coming from a good place. And I think that's where these gentlemen music is coming from. So, and I'm not just saying that because I adore them, but I just think that's where people tend to jump too much to conclusions on things. So that being said, I leave it at that. And like I said, if you get the chance, download Duran Duran's music, iTunes. You can find them on Spotify, Apple Music, any type of thing. I know I listen to them on Amazon Music, so that's just my special preference. But yeah, awesome band. They still sound the same, and cannot wait for the new album. I'm actually gonna pick up their new album on the 27th of October, and yeah, go check it out. So as we come to a close, thank you guys for understanding and being so patient with me. I am Samantha K, and this is the Samantha K Experience. Take care.